Hello and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video from Out of Arc Gaming. Once again, this game was filmed at Entoyment Wargaming and Hobby Centre in Poole. My name is Phil, and today I am joined by...
Amy.
Hi, Amy. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming along and watching this game with me and providing some commentary and some insights into what you think was done well, and as always, having a general natter about Star Wars as we're going along. So what we're going to do, we're going to break down the list. I'm going to take Conor's list for the Republic, and Amy will go through Wes's list for the Separatists in a moment. Very thematic list, Republic versus Separatists, so really excited to see this on the table. So I'll just quickly run down the Republic list, and then I'll hand over to you in a moment, Amy, and you can run down these Separatists. But on the Republic list, we do have the new LAAT with a Warthog pilot, a very popular pilot there, especially with his ability to allow any... So after you or a friendly non-limited ship at range 0-2 are destroyed during the engagement phase, that ship is not removed until the end of that phase. So it's a fantastic ability, and is going to work really well with the fact that he has 4 non-limited ships on the board. He has 2 Squad 7 veterans in the ARC 170s and 2 Blue Squadron protectors in the V19 Torrents. So very much looking to utilise Warthog's ability there. But that's enough about the Republic. Amy, what have we got on the Separatist side?
Okay, so we have Darth Maul in the Sith Infiltrator. He's a really good pilot. He's good fun to fly. I've flown him quite a few times with some of my Separatist drones. He is on with Chancellor Palpatine, Hate and Stealth Device. Then we've got the very naughty General Grievous in the Belobub with Soulless One. Again, he's a really good pilot as well. So when he's performing a primary attack, if he's not in the Defender's firing arc, he may re-roll dice and just generally cause a few shenanigans. Got a bombardment drone as well with seismic charges and proton bombs. Hopefully going to cause a little bit of shenanigans again as well with all those bombs flying around. And a Vulture droid with the hard shell prototype. Nothing on it, just there for the extra firepower.
Nice. So yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting game. I've mentioned this in previous videos. I've not played against or with Separatists very often, so it's going to be interesting to see. I do like the fact that we've got some different ships on that side, especially seeing the Hyena bomber on there. It's a really cool looking ship. I mean, what's your first take on that list, Amy? What do you think of it?
I think it's quite good. I've personally not flown the bombardment drone yet. I've not actually seen it working yet. It is on my list as well to buy. I've flown General Grievous a few times, especially with Soulless One, and he is very good fun. He's very slippery, he's very hard to take down. And Darth Maul as well, he's one of my favourites to do on the Infiltrator, especially with the Palp card as well. As soon as you can flip it and have that extra chance to, spend a few more force, and then obviously gaining that back with Hate, that is a very good combination to have. So I think this is going to be a good one.
Awesome, brilliant. Yeah, I do like the Sith Infiltrator. It's just a really cool looking ship, and obviously Darth Maul and Count Dooku are normally the quite popular pilots you'll see on there, but Hate doubled up with Darth Maul is going to be really strong. So it is quite interesting. You've got those powerful, well-known characters on that Separatist side, and you've got quite a stripped back Republic side, really going for that multiple ships, weight of fire, and really trying to utilise Warthog's ability there. So it'd be interesting to see how they manage to pull that off. Looks like we've got quite a fast approach from the bombardment drone there, so it'd be quite interesting to see what his plan is.
Yeah, he seems to have gone right in as well. It looks like he's deployed at range 2. No, range 1. I can't tell very well.
That's fine. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting. You can see Darth Maul, Grievous, and the Vulture droid sticking close together up the top there. So it'd be quite interesting to see if they do continue in that sort of little squadron formation there, or if they're going to break up. I'd anticipate the Republic side sticking quite close together if they wanted to utilise Warthog's ability, as well as the LA-AT's ship ability with the fire convergence. So while a friendly ship performs a non-turret attack, if the defender is in your turret arc, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, the attacker rerolls up to 2 attack dice. So very, very synergistic there with that list. Not only the Warthog's specific ability, but the ship ability as well. Hopefully going to try and get some good firepower on those Separatists.
Yeah, hopefully. It'll be quite interesting to see the Vulture Droid moving about as well. I don't know if on this list he's got the grappling struts on, which means that they can sit on the asteroids. That's always quite fun, seeing them just sitting there and moving them about. But even when they're flying in and about in between the obstacles, they do cause quite a bit of havoc. I'm also interested to see what the LAT gunship is like. I've not actually flown against them yet.
It's a really nice ship. I'll tell you, the model, I absolutely love the model. So when I got that, as soon as I took it out, I was like, that is a chunky ship. It's got an interesting dial on it. I'm not going to lie. There's only 2 blue maneuvers, which is the 1 and 2 straight, and it doesn't have any sort of K turns, Talon rolls, S turns at all. But it does have a stop, which is really good.
Ooh.
So it's a red stop, but it's just a really nice ship to use, and it's got a lot of space for upgrades. You can get 2 crew. You can get 2 gunners on there as well, so you can really play about with those shenanigans. And at the moment, he has Wolfpack on there, who is actually a crew gunner, so he takes up 2 slots, but you can still chuck another gunner on there as well if you wanted to. But it is a really fun ship to fly, and in this little setup, it just looks right.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it is a good-looking model as well. I should imagine it would be quite a hard ship to go against a list that specifically stresses you out as well if it's only got 2 blue maneuvers.
Yeah, so that's probably where it's going to suffer a bit. I mean, just like most larger ships, so with 8 hull, 2 shields, it's only got the 1 of 8 dice, which you kind of expect with those sort of ships, but it does sort of limit its survivability. So you do have to be careful with it, just like most medium-based ships, but it can still pack quite a punch. And the interesting thing is all of these ships on Conor's side are Initiative 3 as well, so he can pick which ships he wants to move first. So if he thinks that once Wes has moved into position, if he thinks next round, actually, I want to move the green arc at the back before the LA-AT to get a better shot, and then maybe bump the LA-AT, he's got that ability knowing exactly that he can move at any different point.
Yeah.
But seems like we've got a bit of a formation flying here from Conor, and it's loosened up a bit on Wes's side.
Yeah, it looks as if he's going for a little bit of a conga line around the outside of the map.
Yeah.
Be interested to see what the hyena bomber does up there by itself in the middle of the map as well. That looks quite interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a precarious position for him to be in. I mean, he's quite fortunate the 2 arcs and the torrents at the moment don't have arc. The arcs do have front and back, and the torrents have the forward. But the LA-AT does have his turret arc to the side, so if needs be, he can get a shot. But elsewhere, he is out of everyone else's arc.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if he's actually within range, though. So it looks like it could be just outside of range 3 there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that might just be out of range. Looks like General Grievous is coming through into the middle as well, but it should be interesting to see where Morley's about to go, because he's quite far out at the minute.
Well, the Sith Infiltrator's got a fairly good dial, if I remember rightly, so it can still get about quite quickly. Let's have a quick look. So, yeah, I mean, it's got the fabled large base 5k, which means it can really surprise you and just flipping itself around, but it's got all of the moves 1 through 3, and fairly good blue dial, actually. 1, 2, and 3 straights being blue, and the 1 and 2 banks being blue. That's, for a large base ship, it's fairly manoeuvrable.
Yeah, especially seeing that it can do the 2 signal loops as well. Granted, they're red maneuvers, but that is still quite good for a large base ship.
Oh, very powerful for a large base ship. And with it having Darth Maul on there, he's not necessarily concerned about missing his option to do an action, as he has the Force to modify his dice. Now, obviously, he's probably going to want to save some of that Force to try and do a double tap. Oh, and we do have some shooting.
Oh, wow, it is in range.
Quite easily in range, actually. We completely misjudged that. So Wes does have initiative in this game, so his bombardment drone will get the first shot. It looks like it's going at the LA-8C, so damaging that nice new paintwork there. And we got 1 hit there.
What evade has the lat ship got? Is it just 2 standard defense?
So 1 standard evade, so range 3 gives him the second, and he's decided to take that on the shield, so 1 shield down on Warthog. And there's another ability triggering there. So let's have a quick look. That was from Warthog. So after a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 defends, if the attacker is in your firing arc, the defender may gain 1 strain token to require a lock on the attacker. So he's just spent that lock straight away and got 2 hits. Calculate spent there, no damage on the bombardment drone.
Yeah. I do like the little calculate tokens, being able to choose whether or not you want to use them as an evade or a focus. The only downside of them is obviously, you know, if you have like a focus token or an evade, you only have to use that 1 token to change all of the dice. To calculate sort of like 1 per dice, which is the only downside. But it is still quite handy to have.
I mean, when you're flying in a swarm, though, if you've got network calculation in there, it can kind of counteract that, because you can use you can use them from other ships. And if you've got, is it the Kraken tactical relay, I think, is the one that allows you to save calculates over into the next turn, so you can essentially stack them.
It is, yeah. So during the end phase, you may choose up to 3 friendly ships at range 0 to 3. If you do, then each of those ships doesn't remove one of their calculate tokens. So it's quite handy in some lists, like one that I fly is the Bellabub with Grievous, and then I just have like a mini swarm of Vulture Droids in the back with grappling struts on. And so that Kraken helps me to keep my calculates, to be able to spend on maybe like the energy shell charges, which is another really good weapon that you can use on the droids. They're quite powerful. You do have to recharge and reload them, so you have to sort of fly in, shoot, then fly back out once you reload, but it is still quite powerful to use.
And especially with those Vulture Droids, they're cheap as well. I mean, yes, they've only got 3 hull, but in general, they are quite cheap. I mean, if you look at the Herschel prototype that Wes has there, that's 21 points. That is a really cheap ship. I mean, that's cheaper than a TIE Fighter, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think a TIE Fighter, because I mean, I usually fly Empire, First Order, and Separatists. Whenever I've flown like a bog standard TIE, they're usually about 30 points. I mean, even in First Order, like the bog standard First Order Epsilon Squadron Pilot, they're about 35 points, something like that off the top of my head. They can be quite expensive, so these are quite good.
Yeah, I mean, just having a look, the Academy TIE Pilot is 22 points, so that's pretty much your baseline ship there. You obviously start getting a bit more expensive when you add in the higher ones, so your Obsidian Squadron 23, Your Black Squadron A is 25, but at that point you're getting higher initiatives and access to the talent slot in there, which is going to be good. But yeah, I mean, 21 points, that's probably one of the cheapest ships in the game there. And for what it's going to do, it's hopefully going to get into the mix, cause a bit of trouble, even if it's you don't get a lot of shots at it or get a lot out of it. Conor still has to then spend time shooting at that to get rid of it. So that was flying. Just to go back to the game, clip the asteroid there. No damage for the bombardment drone. Also no action. Now, as I was saying, Conor would have to then spend time taking that ship out. If he gets that in one shot, he's probably happy. But if it takes more than one shot to take out a 21-point ship, you're going to start feeling bad because you're wanting to spend those points on Grievous or Maul to get damage on them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Maul on his own, I mean, his build is 92 points, so he is quite expensive. It depends on your flying style, really, whether you want to go for like the big ships first or whether you want to get rid of the annoying little point ships first. It depends really on what you personally fancy, but I agree. I generally would have gone for Grievous and Maul because they're going to be a bit more of a pain to take down than one little ultra droid or
definitely
bombardment drone.
I mean, obviously, taking a ship off the board is always going to be good anyway because that's one less attack that your enemy is going to have. But at the same time, you want to take off something that has a lot of points because more points is better.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I like about 2.0 is that in terms of point taking, as soon as you get a ship down to half points, half damage, you get half points.
Yeah.
And that's on any ship, whereas previously it was only on large ships, wasn't it, that you could do that? Whereas now it's on everything.
Yeah, first edition, you'd only score half points on large base ships. You'd have to completely take out a small base ship to get the half points on there, which led to situations where you could have something really basic on one whole point and just know, right, well, if I fly that away, then that's points denial there. Whereas now, yeah, you can still do that, but it's less damaging. I mean, if, for instance, the Vulture droid was down to half points, Conor would be getting 11 points there. It's not really going to be worth it for Wes to fly that away because it's only an additional 10 points he'd be losing. I mean, that could be the difference between a victory and a loss, but in the long run, he's more likely going to want that in the fray. Now, with this being a casual game, there's none of that tournament sort of play that you get of trying to avoid losing points. So this is just from one of our casual Wednesday nights down at the Employment Store. So we do hopefully have some tournament play coming up very soon. Hoping to get quite a few videos. We've got some videos coming from the tournament at the local store and hopefully going to be getting those up quite rapidly. So we might see some more expert level play there, potentially a bit more showmanship. So it'd be quite interesting to see what we get there. But at the moment, loving what we're seeing. Conor's definitely decided that he's had enough of that hyena bomber in his area and has assigned one of those arcs to try and deal with it.
Yeah, it looks as if he's sort of breaking formation to turn around and go, no, I'm not having this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure how aware Conor is of what is on that, but knowing that there is a seismic and proton bomb on there, I would definitely want to be getting rid of that quite quickly.
Oh gosh, you actually never know when those are going to deploy, and they can be so nasty, but brilliant to use as well.
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's watched a few of our videos here have probably seen some really good seismic charges go off. So we know how damaging they can be. So we've got a shot here from the red Arc 170 over at the Vulture. One hit, absolutely fine. That Vulture didn't even phase its little cyborg brain.
No.
But we've got the Lat doing a range 3 at the Hyena, Oh, 2 hits.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ouch.
that's 2 blanks and a focus.
And I don't think he's got a calculate either, because of course he's got no action from clipping the asteroid. So yeah, I
Indeed,
think he's probably going to go down to 1 hull now, isn't he?
no, he'll go down to 2 because he's got 5 hull to start with, so it's already been counted.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, but now we've got the green arc, range 1 shot, spending a charge to reroll that one. So that's 3 hits and a crit on that bombardment drone. And that is 2 blanks. That's bye-bye bombardment drone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
He did well.
So that's exactly what Conor wanted to do. So we had a wounded pilot there on the bombardment drone, but it's not going to matter because, well, he is now a million bits of motherboard and processors just floating around.
Yeah, he's debris now. He's gone. He's dust.
Yeah. So that was really good there for Conor with that bombardment drone. It was almost guaranteed that I could imagine that a seismic charge probably would have been the choice there, which would have caused some serious issues there for his list. I reckon it could have possibly got 4, maybe 5 of his ships, all 5 of his ships, if it had gone off. But unfortunately, that is consigned to the bin of we will never know.
Yeah, I think maybe Conor might have done a bit of mind reading there and thought, I can see this coming. I need to take out this chap before the seismic charge does come into play.
Yeah. So, if you were flying this list, Amy, and you've just seen your bombardment drone go down, thinking that maybe your bombs are going to be your good one to soften them up a little bit, what's now your thoughts? What would you be doing if you were flying the Separatist list now?
Oh, honestly, I would want to try and target the 2 arcs. And I don't know what it is about them. I think it's one mainly because like my inner Sith is saying, yeah, those arcs need to go down. They're very tough ships.
Yeah.
They've always been the bane of my existence when flying them against them in the studio. So those 2 arcs can be quite painful to take down. So I definitely want to try and take one of those. It depends really on whether he's going to try and Conor's going to try and stick in formation or keep the group together, or whether he's going to split them up. As to whether I would decide to go and take one ship off the board at a time, like pin them down one by one, or whether to just fly in for the next round just to see if I can gain some sort of observations on where he might potentially go. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Those arcs, they're the chunkiest ship on the board there. They've got, for Conor, they've got 6 hull, 3 shields, and out the forward arc, they've got a 3 dice attack. And even out the back, they have a 2 dice attack as well. So they've got the potential for the highest damage output, and you need to put the most damage in them to take them down. So yes, I would agree, they are quite scary. I mean, Warthog, I think he would be a good one to take out, because if you don't manage to get, if Warthog's still alive and you do take out one of those arcs, you lose that ability to initiative kill because they're going to stick around if they're in range 2 of Warthog. But I do agree. I think if it was me, I'd be looking to try and take out those arcs. I'd also be looking, right now, seeing where Conor's ships are, it looks like they're going to be coming straight up the middle at Wes. So it's almost like Wes needs to try and somehow get on the flank of them. And how he's going to manage that is quite difficult. You've got Grievous and the Vulture pointed straight at those arcs.
Yeah, they've also got to try and compensate as well the 2 torrents at the back, because they bumped in the previous round. Obviously, they've all got to try and manoeuvre around each other, hopefully, so they don't bump again and they can all get actions, especially with the Separatists now coming, probably into the middle.
Yeah.
To cause some problems.
I mean, you've now with Maul coming in now, and all that force and all his utility there, it's going to be quite scary. Now, I just want to point out for the eagle-eyed viewer out there, you'll see that currently Maul is showing as only having 3 force points. He does actually have 4 because he's got the Palpatine card on there. So hopefully that might get updated a little bit later in the game. But he does actually have 4 force as standard with having Palpatine crew on there. So hopefully that will get caught at some point. Looks like Wes is having quite a struggle there trying to work out where he's going with Maul.
Yeah, I'm sort of debating whether or not he is trying to hold Maul back to protect him a little bit, because obviously points-wise he is worth a lot, but also because he's such a powerful pilot and powerful ship to have, whether he's sort of hanging him back and letting the 2 smaller ships, peck away at the shields and the hull of the other ships first before going in for the kill. It'll be interesting to see whereabouts he goes. By the looks of it, the Vulture droid has gone straight through to the middle. It looks like he's going after that arc at the bottom.
Yeah, possibly he might be there trying to get a bit of a block in, but
no, I think they're going to be pointing straight out at each other. Wow.
Yeah,
That's brave.
It
That's
does
very
look
brave.
like green. I mean, looking at that, I would not want to be that Vulture droid at this point.
No, I should imagine his circuits are probably shorting a little bit.
Yeah.
He's going to be thinking, oh my days, what am I going to do?
And it looks like I think he's out of arc of the red arc there. But should he want it, Warthog would definitely have a shot there because his arc, although his turret indicator is a little bit skew, it is still left to right. Let's see how. There we go. The torrents are getting out nicely. So he's really spreading his arcs out. Try and get a lot of coverage, which is good. But it is going to. The one thing he will suffer with there is if he has his arcs spread out too much, he won't be able to focus fire. But I would say at the moment he's in a good position.
Yeah, it looks as if he's sort of spreading the firing arc around across the board, with facing his ships in slightly different directions. So wherever the droids or more may go, at least one of them is going to be in arc of somebody else.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks as if he's covering all of his bases, which is quite nice. Be interesting now to see whether the arc is going to go for Grievous, whether it's going to go for the Vulture droid, because I think both of them now are facing him down at range 1, if by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like range 1 from Grievous to the green arc. And it is, that is a really tough one because, again, Grievous is 50 points, the Vulture is 21, but could possibly get that Vulture off the board, and he would have at least 2 shots on the Vulture as well. If he used the yellow torrent and the green arc on that Vulture, he could potentially wipe it off the board. But do you want to sacrifice a range 1 shot against Grievous to get 21 points?
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, if I was the arc, I probably would go for Grievous. I know that's kind of going against the Separatists, which I'm trying to build up because I play them quite a lot, but thinking logically, I agree. I'd probably go straight for Grievous.
Yeah, I mean, a nice 4-dice shot on Grievous would be good, but looks like we've got Maul going first. He's going to go for a range 3 shot on the LA-80. So we've got 2 hits there from Maul. So nothing to be able to change that. 1 focus. Well, was that against the LA-80? It could have actually been against the Arc, I think.
Yeah, it's the Arc.
Oh, yeah, it was against the Arc. So spend the focus. So So red has taken 1 shield. And he is now using Wolfpack's ability to gain a strain to get a target lock, which right now, the strain doesn't hurt him at all. He's not going to get shot again, so that -1 agility isn't going to hurt. So that's a really clever move there to get that target lock for his return shot.
Yeah, that is quite a clever one. Now, is Maul going to do his pilot ability and spend a couple of his force to do a bonus primary attack at the last?
Yes, he is. He's actually doing it against the torrent there. So range 2. So it'll be 3 on 2 with a focus and force there. Although it says 1 force, he does have 2 force still available. And 2 more hits there into the torrent. Oh. So 1 evade, 1 focus. Spend that. And so no damage on the torrent. And again, the torrent is going to strain itself to get a target lock on Maul. So that little cluster there is definitely going to be trying to put as much hurt in on Maul as possible. And the one downside with that is hate. So it will allow Maul to regenerate a lot of force there if he does. Like, ideally, he doesn't want to take damage, but if he does, he's going to be regenerating that force.
Yeah, it's quite a handy upgrade to have, is the hate card.
Yeah.
It's on the majority of my list just to make sure that I can definitely get that force back.
Yeah. Oh, and Grievous has spent his focus for 3 hits, 1 evade, 2 shields down on green. So starting to spread that damage out a little bit. So
yeah,
I think
that was quite a good hit.
Yeah, good hit. I mean, it's a bit of a shame for Wes spreading that damage out, but all in all, he just wants to be getting as much hurt in as possible.
Oh, it looks like everybody's going in for Maul.
No, he's actually going for the Vulture there. So range 2 on the Vulture. So I think... Oh, that's a hit crit on that Vulture.
Ouch.
Oh, so he's going to calculate 1 and take just a crit. That was not good.
No.
And it's a fuel leak on the Vulture, which is, again, not a great crit to get for anyone, but especially when you've still got 2 hull left. Oh, so the Ark is going to try and wipe him off the board. So he's going for that ship removal. And that's 3 hits and a crit.
Can't even defend against that.
Yeah, and so that crit would add another hit anyway for fuel leak. So that is that poor Vulture down, which it's a very good option from Conor to do that. Yes, he had that range 1 on Grievous, but it now means that he has no more shooting coming back in. So
yeah, it's still 5 ships against 2, so it'll be quite interesting to see if the Separatists can turn it back round.
Yeah. So I've got the NAAT range 3 at Maul. I mean, you say 5 ships against 2, but those 2 ships are Grievous and Maul, so they do have the ability to do this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a few games where people have managed to turn it around so quickly and so well. I mean, I've even seen people take on a full list with only 1 health point left. It's easily doable. It's one of the things that I really like about this game is that anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not over until it's over. And so we've had two rounds of shooting there at Maul, nothing gone through, evaded everything. So a lot of target locks being used up. 2 hits there. And still no damage on to Maul. So, all in all, pretty good So it's a bit of a shame. Obviously, Wes lost the Vulture Droid, which is not great. But he did manage to spread a bit of damage around there, and Grievous and Maul have come out completely unscathed. So that is good.
Yeah, that is quite good.
It's going to be
especially.
Karen.
Oh, sorry. I mean, especially since some of your ships are now starting to get a little bit more damaged as well. So for them to come out unscathed is quite good.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting now with the Republic list. So the Ark and the Torrent are going to want to now be doing blue maneuvers to get rid of that strain. But it does mean that there's potential there that they're going to bump into Maul. So it's going to be interesting. The maneuvers now are going to be quite key. I could imagine Grievous is going to want to be doing something to get, I wouldn't normally say round behind that arc, but obviously you don't really want to be behind an arc because they can still shoot you. But he's definitely going to be wanting to try and outflank him.
Yeah, if that was me, I would try and do sort of a short, sharp maneuver where possible on the dial with Grievous to try and get to the side of the arc, so I can hopefully still, get a really good range one shot, depending on obviously how fast the arc goes, but still staying out of their shooting range.
Yeah.
Maul, on the other hand, because he's got so many ships in front of him, I think he's probably going to end up bumping, especially since with him being a Initiative 5 pilot, he'll be moving last as well. Yeah. So there's no guarantee whatever manoeuvre he does that, he's going to be able to complete it.
Well, I mean, there's one manoeuvre I could think of that he might complete. The big 5K.
Oh, of course, I keep forgetting he's got that.
Do you think now is the time to do that 5K? I mean, unless the LA-80 stops, everything else is going to move. He'll be able to clear that 5K, no problem.
Oh gosh, yeah, thinking about it, yeah, he probably could. But is the LAT going to think, I can see this coming?
Yeah.
Purposefully block it. That would be quite interesting to see if he's sort of foreseen that happening, if, a 5K is what they decide to do.
Yeah. Almost getting a sneak preview there of Wes's dial. So do we think blue maneuver to clear that stress there for Grievous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so, because he also he's got so much space to the left of him, he could choose to clear the stress and sort of fly around the corner to stay out of arcs and stay out of range.
Ooh, so that arc almost looks like he is anticipating the Darth Maul 5K, and we've got a potentially tactical bump there.
I do love tactical bumps. Sort of pinpointing where your own firing arcs are going to be, just to cause havoc for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if Maul does that 5K, Conor's in a fairly good position. He's got one arc forward, one arc back, so he's got shots there. And if he doesn't do the 5K, he's still in a good position. And so the LA-80 is there going over the cloud, keeping the arc left to right, but it's again really good coverage there.
Yeah.
Let's never see if he gets strained. So there's a strain. So getting a strain on either a hit or focus from the gas clouds. All in all, gas clouds, they're quite a nice obstacle because they don't cause you any damage. A strain isn't terrible, and if you're being shot through the other side of it, it acts like old school auto thrusters in being able to change one blank evade to a result, which is good. Yeah,
they are quite handy to have.
And it gives variety on the board as well.
Yeah, they are quite popular obstacles at the minute, just because they've got that added bit of having, as you said, the auto thrusters sort of effect. Looks like Grievous is flying out of the way to clear the stress.
Yeah,
And get out of range.
Yeah, I think he's flying off to sort of reset himself and come back in. I mean, he may be getting a range. Oh, we do have the 5K.
Yes.
We do have the Darth Maul 5K, so that is... And I don't think Conor truly anticipated it. So I am able to hear the table audio here. I know it's not going to be on the finished recording, but yeah, Conor was hoping that he was going to be doing something a bit slower and getting a really good block there. But he's still got some good shots at him from 2 arcs and the LA80. Just means that the torrents there probably not going to have much to do unless Yellow has a cheeky range 3 shot on Grievous, which I think he might do.
Yeah, I think he might do as well. Maul, I'm not too sure who he's going to fire at, because obviously he's got so much choice.
I mean, with Maul's ability, he does get to shoot at 2 ships. So I think I'd be tempted to go for a range 1 shot on the blue torrent, which he's doing.
Yeah.
And then spending 2 force and then going into green, I think, would be what I would do.
Yeah, I agree.
So...
That's a good roll.
Well, it's 2 hits of focus and a blank, so...
Oh, I didn't see the blank. I thought that was another focus.
No.
Oh, is he forcing it?
No, yeah, he's spent a force, so 3 hits. Oh, no, sorry, that was a crit. 2 hits and a crit, so hit and crit on blue. So fuel leak on the blue squadron protector there. So that wasn't a terrible shot there. Still leaves Maul with 2 force as well, so...
Is he going to use it for a second hit?
He's debating it.
Yeah, because of course if he uses it, yes, he's got that extra shot, but at the same time he hasn't got his force to fall back on in defence, and of course he's got so many ships pointing at him to get shots in next, because of course their shooting will be coming up in a second.
Yeah, so he's got 2 dice shots back, and potentially it's either a 3 or a 4 dice shot back.
Yeah, I think if I was him, I'd probably save the force just to try and keep myself alive a little bit more. Then again, you have got the 6 hull and 4 shields to fall back on, so
yeah,
it's debated whether you want that damage.
Oh, so it was a hit, 2 hits and a crit, structural damage.
Nice.
And a damage, so that was actually a hit and 2 crits. So we have a structural damage and damage sensor rate on Warthog. So Warthog now has 0 agility. So I'm not going to lie, he chose violence, and yeah.
Violence works.
But he is going to use Wolfpack to gain that strain to get a target lock. So, I mean, all in all, that was good. And he's got He's got stealth device to fall back on as well, which is good.
Oh, of course, I keep forgetting he's got stealth device on as well. That is another really handy one. I've not used that one in 2.0, but I have got it coming up on another list, so I will have to give it a go at some point.
So we've got 2 hits towards Grievous. Grievous gets the reroll. 2 evades. Grievous is laughing. But yeah, no, that was good. That was some good attacks there from Maul. We'll see what happens back. So LA80 coming back now. He's got his target lock on Maul. Not that he needs it. 2 crits. So that's 1 shield, and the stealth device is now gone. So, however, hate now triggers. So he has just regained a force there. So it does mean that he's got a little bit more modifications ability there against the other shots. I mean, ideally, he probably doesn't want to be regaining lots of force right now because it means he'll have lost lots of health. But it could be quite handy. So range 2 from red there, so only 2 dice. And we've got fire convergence from the LA80, flip allowing us to roll 2, 1 hit. Ooh, focus. What would you do? Take it and regain a force, or force it to not take damage?
I would take it personally.
And get that force back, yeah.
Yeah, just to get the force back, because I think.
Oh, so he's spent it.
Yeah, that was a good call.
So I mean, he's now got a range 1 4 dice. So I mean, I would have been tempted to leave it, gain those 2 force back, because he's just got 4 hits there. So he's going to be gaining 3 force back. So yeah, so that is 3 shields down on Mull. He does gain 3 force back, and in the end phase, he will be back up to full force. So I mean, that's not terrible.
No, I mean, I could live with that. I mean, he's still got 6 hull left. Obviously, he's now back at full capacity with his force. So it's kind of a win-win scenario in a way for Mull. Granted, he's a little bit scratched up, but overall, he's still looking quite good.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if he feeds on the anger of his ship getting damaged there to really punish this Republic list. I mean, at the moment, I think with the points, Conor's obviously in the lead, but I think he's also in quite a good position with his ships as well, in that with the arcs, he's got them going in either direction, so they can still keep some guns on there. It's just, how is he going to try and work on Grievous is the issue.
Yeah, because I should imagine Grievous now he's going to do sort of like a fast manoeuvre around the corner just to try and get back in the game a little bit, because presumably one arc is going to come tearing after him with the torrent, and then the others are maybe going to try and focus down more with the lat. But yeah, it depends on where Maul is also going to go as well, because obviously he's got all those ships in front of him. Grievous obviously has got plenty of room. He's not going to bump. He's laughing, but what is going to happen next?
I mean, it looked like Wes knew exactly what he wanted to do with Grievous, and I mean, I'd be anticipating a 1 or 2 hard, and then boost in. Maul is the tougher one. He's stressed, so you're going to want to be trying to get rid of that stress, which means 1 or 2 speed maneuver. You need to wait to see where the arcs go. Does he want to go a bit slower to try and make sure that he can complete his maneuver and potentially take an action, or does he throw caution to the wind and just do a 2 or 3 forward, knowing I'm going to clear the stress, stop potentially 1 shot, and just go for it?
Yeah, he's also got the added bonus as well of being a PS5 as well, so he moves last, so hopefully all the other ships would have moved a little bit further out of the way to give him that extra space should he decide to clear his stress.
Yeah. I mean, he's not an ace, so he's not going to have that perfect information to be able to maneuver. Oh, but we have a tactical bump there from green. Red is coming around and landing on that rock.
No.
Does he take damage? No damage, so he's fine. But that is the kind of thing that Wes wants to see. No shots coming in from that arc either way. Keeps Grievous nice and safe.
Yeah, it's bad luck for the arc, but good luck for the opposition.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. K-turn there from the torrent.
Wow.
So he's really banking on Maul. Well, he's going to have Maul in arc regardless. I don't think there's anything that Maul can do to stay out of arc. but he's also hoping that he's doing something a bit slower to maybe get some range 1 shots.
Yeah, it almost looks as if they're sort of hoping to get a circle around him.
Yeah, and that LA-80 is in a really nice position as well to still utilise his fire convergence there. So he's going to take a focus.
Which ways?
Oh, we did get 2 in.
That would be just in range 1, I should believe, between those two as well, which would be quite nice to peck away at some of the Torrent's hull.
Yep, and as what I was anticipating, barrel roll, probably link that to a focus. Yep, so he's linking it to a focus. So that is lovely positioning there for Grievous, knowing that he is going to get his shot off and not take any shots back. So that is exactly what he wants. What did... Ooh... That
He's decided to go the other way.
Is actually a bit unfortunate there for Maul, because he is now going to have 3 shots, 3 ships shooting back at him. You've got a range 1. Oh, he was talking about barrel roll, but there's nowhere for it to barrel roll. But that's quite scary. A large base ship barrel rolling. There's only a few that can do that, and it's just the thought of it is quite daunting. It's like a large base ship boosting. It's just, you see it happen, you're like, sorry, that's scary.
I have to admit, they are quite fun to watch when you do boost and barrel roll them, because the bases are so large. You obviously you've got no idea where they could potentially go.
Yeah.
But they are good fun to barrel roll and boost around the board, just to cause a little bit of extra confusion.
It's when you put a cloaking device on it as well, and it decloaks first. So you're like, sorry, what? So it looks like Maul is going to go for the LA-80, which is his only shot, which makes sense. So
that's just out of range 1 as well, isn't it? Or is it in?
Oh, they're just checking it. I'm not a big fan of those FFG templates there. With that little peg on it, makes it a bit difficult. So it is, how many dice? 4 dice. So range 1 shot, 4 dice, spending the focus.
Good call.
So that is 4 hits. 4 straight damage onto Warthog. That's the first points on the board there for Wes. 2 hull left on Warthog. So that is quite dangerous. And he can't use Wolfpack to get a strain to get a time lock, because he's already got a strain. And range 1 for Grievous into the yellow torrent. Spending the focus 4. And he's just going to reroll. So there's a little bit of miscue. He missed his reroll there, but again, casual game. Conor, lovely guy, said, you know what, use that focus. So that's 4 hits there from Wes, 1 evade from Conor, so that's 3 damage on that torrent. But again, it's one of the things I love about the casual game when we play down at Entoyment, and I can imagine you have the same at your local store, that if there are some missed triggers there, you're not going to hold it against someone. I mean, we're here to have fun, and Conor knows that better than many people I've played against. He's always looking to have fun when he's playing.
Oh gosh, I mean, like you've always got to have a laugh when you're playing this as well, especially when you've got like some really good thematic lists, and some people can really put like a lot of thought around their list, whether they decide to do like a trend style, really trying to get the original games, original movies, proper thematic lists, and then you've got other ones who will decide to do, I don't know, maybe Scarif lists, or ones to go down for the Battle of Endor, and some people put in like massive amounts of effort and thought into these. So especially for a casual list, if you make a little mistake after putting so much effort in, you just think, no, I'll cut them a bit of slack. I'll forget about those mistakes. We're here to have fun and see where it goes.
So it looks like Maul took 1 damage there, and then he used Palpatine, spend 1 force to give the LAAT a stress there, which with its dial is not great because it doesn't have much ability to get rid of that. It's either doing a 1 forward or a 2 forward, but at this point I think there's not really much care in where it goes. It's probably not long for this world now. Oh, so this is 3 range 1 shots onto Maul. So the LAAT got 1 damage in. Got fire convergence, rerolling those 2 focuses. And hit crit on Maul. So hit crit. Oh. So Panic Pilot there, gaining 2 stress tokens on Maul. He does not like that at all.
No.
He's back at full force though. He's just got nothing to use it for.
Yeah, of course.
We've still got 1 more range 1 shot there, so it's going to be quite... I'm not sure if Maul's going to last much longer.
No, on the flip side, General Grievous is at full health pretty much still, so you never know, he might turn it around a little bit more just to help Maul out a bit. Then again, it doesn't matter really whether you've got 1 hull or 3 hull like Maul has still got left. You could still, win a game on that little hull, depending on how you fly it and, how well the Force works for you.
Yeah. So, 1 more damage there on Maul, so Maul does survive that, which is quite good. General Grievous, he's a tricky customer, especially with Solus 1 and his native ability. He's very fast, he can hit quite hard. Would I want him left as 1v5? Probably not. But he could potentially do some shenanigans.
Yeah, agreed.
But again, at the moment we're looking at 104 to 42. So we've got half points on Warthog and the Blue Squadron Protector Blue. Got half points on Maul, full points on Bombardment Drone and the Vulture. Apologies, I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I know I'm going to make an absolute hash of what that Vulture is actually called. But I think this is going the way. It's definitely going in favour of the Republic. So you could almost say this is very much the Battle of Coruscant.
Yeah, agreed. I think the Republic is doing quite well on this one, especially seeing how much hull and shield the 2 are.
So diverging a little bit from the game, obviously we've got quite a few new ships coming out. Have you managed to pick up any of the new ships recently?
I think my favourite one for the minute has got to be the TIE RB Heavy. I've always liked the look of the classic TIE fighter. Also like, how much big trouble it can cause on the board. And it also looked quite flexible in terms of, how much of an asset it can be to the Imperial squads around the board. So not only has it got, really heavy armour to stand up against blaster fire, but it's got swiveling cannons, and that for a TIE fighter is quite good. The only other TIE that I know that can have, spinning turrets is the TIE Aggressor. I don't think that's as popular a ship as what it used to be.
Since we lost to a laser turret, although I have seen a few videos where people have comboed that with dorsal turret, Captain Feroth on the Reaper, and Admiral Sloane to quite good effect. But again, that's mainly on TTS, so they don't actually have to own 5 TIE aggressors, because I'm not sure how many players now own 5 TIE aggressors, but regardless of that, I do agree the TIE RB does look really cool. The moment I saw that in solo, I was like, when is that coming to the game? I really want that ship because it looks cool, and it's something new for Empire, and we haven't had anything new for the Empire since, I think the TIE Reaper was actually the last new ship we had for the Empire, just at the end of version 1, start of version 2. So yeah, so that's the newest Empire ship. What about the new Tri-Fighter and Jango Fett Slave 1? How are you feeling about those?
I'm feeling quite confident seeing them. I've not looked at the articles too much, or the previews that FFG have put out about them, but to have the fire spray come back out into play, I am excited for. That is a very good ship to fly. I flew it quite a lot with some Empire lists, and then also with the Scum and Villainy side in version 1, and I remember having such good fun with those lists, so I'm really looking forward to that one. The Tri-Fighter, again, I've not looked at that one again too much, but it does look like an exciting ship to come out and have a look at.
I mean, looking at the Tri-Fighter, they haven't done the full preview for it yet. I reckon that'll be, well, actually, by the time this has come out, they might already have done that preview. But at the point of recording, they hadn't. But I mean, I've seen its dial, and it's gonna be AC. It's gonna be your counterpart to the ETA 2. It has a 1 Talon roll, which is insane. It looks like it likes to either go fast or turn hard. It's got 2, 3, 4 blue speed maneuvers and 2 and 3 hard blue maneuvers. Its bank maneuvers are white, so it's either go hard and fast straight, or turn hard and love it. So it's going to be fun to do.
Yeah, those are the bits that I was looking at. It was like the dials and stuff. It did look as if, they're going to be huge amounts of fun to fly.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see them on the board, especially the Tri-Fighter. The Tri-Fighter and the ETA 2 look so cool. Looks like we've just lost the LAAT. He's taken a lot of damage, but he has also taken a weapons failure. But because of Warthog's ability, he's not going to disappear. He is going to be able to shoot back at Maul before we take him off the board.
One last fight.
Yeah.
He's not going without that fight.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Warthog is such a popular ship, like a popular pilot on that ship. I mean, the LAAT is fairly expensive. 52 points for the basic ship. So for Warthog with Woolpack, 58 points, it's a quarter of your list. But what it can do to help those ships stick around longer is absolutely crazy. But it does mean that Wes has got the full points for Warthog there. So he's in a position, if he can take out that blue there, won't quite be in the lead, but it'll be close. So 3 hits on that blue squadron protector there. So it's taking a focus to stick around with 1 health left. So you're going to get the... It sounds like you're definitely going to get Jango Fett Slave 1 then.
I'm definitely thinking about it. I mean, I think what I might do is I've not got many Separatist ships. I've got literally like a handful of droids. I've not even got any scum ships. What I might do first is have a go at them on Tabletop Simulator just to see how they run before I fly it. But you know me, I'm probably going to end up buying all the models regardless anyway, because I like having those shiny ships sitting in my cases or on my bookcase just to look at. But so yeah, I probably will be getting them at some point. I do like to stock up on all of my ships.
I'm very much like that as well. I mean, the only faction I don't have any representation for is the Separatists, because I went with Republic instead. But I mean, I do like what the Separatists have to bring to the table, and it's something I'm very much considering. And especially now you've got the Tri-Fighter coming in, and I'm probably going to pick up Jango Fett Slave 1 because there's going to be some really good cards in there for Scum. So it's gonna work both ways. But it does look like they do look like some good ships, and I like what they're bringing to the game. So
yeah, the Separatists are quite good fun to fly. I mean, I've not flown the Hyena bombers yet, or the Nantex. That does look quite interesting to use, and it looks quite cool. But that they are a really good faction to fly.
Yeah, and I mean, I like what they've done with 2.0 in that each faction really has its own identity, and you can even just watch the way that they play and see that they do follow that particular archetype. So with Separatists, there's a lot of swarms in there, there's a lot of synergy, a lot of cheaper ships that are getting in the way and causing trouble. And then you look at, say, First Order, that there are some lower initiative ships, but you tend to find that it's their higher initiative ships with some really interesting abilities that come in. You look at Kylo Ren, Quick Draw, Midnight, and Von Reg. They're AC style ships with some really fun tech.
Yeah.
And then you've got Empire, which go either between having a vast array of cheap ships or your really high skill aces and Vader, because everyone loves Vader. He's cool.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, my preference, I love Empire. First faction I bought into. I love playing them still. There's some great ships in there. I really enjoy Republic, and I've been having a lot of fun with Scum recently. I think a lot of people have been having fun with Scum. And what you're saying there about using TTS as an option to try them out is a really good idea, because it gives you that ability to be able to fly ships that you don't have and get an idea of how they work without having to spend a fair amount of money on them.
Yeah, it's quite good as well. Like if you're thinking about, flying a certain faction before actually, making your lists and, buying all of the models, just to think, actually, I'm going to try it out on Tabletop Simulator first, just to see if you like it, because each, faction has definitely got, as you said, its own style. You've got, the Force wielders who have got so many different shenanigans that they can use and play. It depends on what fits your flying style, really, as to whether you're going to go with a faction that suits your style more. Like some people love flying swarms of droids or swarms of TIE fighters, other people don't, so maybe that might not be the faction for them. But if you're going to try it out on TTS, it is still good fun to have a go at, to decide, is this what I'm going to go for? Or just, for a bit of a change, for a bit of a laugh. It is good fun.
Yeah. And one of the other good things as well with 2.0 is, although there are some cases where if you do want a certain upgrade, you have to get certain ships, generally that has been eliminated from the game, whereas version 1, you had that a lot of, there's a really cool upgrade I want for my ships, but unfortunately the only place to get it is in a ship that isn't even for my faction. So you'd end up having to buy other ships just for certain upgrades, which has been eliminated quite nicely in 2.0. Yes, again, there are still the odd occasions where you might need to pick up a ship for a faction you don't have. But if you're a big collector, you've probably got all or most of the factions anyway, so you're going to want to pick up your ships. But I've got the TIE RB on order and the ETA 2 and the V-Wing on order, and I cannot wait to try those.
Yeah, I'll definitely be pre-ordering the TIE RB heavies come payday. I think I'll get a couple of those.
Don't blame you. And those new upgrades that they're getting for the TIEs as well, the ion limiter, it's just something different, something cool that's going to make using TIE fighters, it's going to change the way you use TIE fighters slightly. So you're not just going to be doing, it's not always the same thing. They are slightly different. And I like that because although the TIEs were mass produced and they were all very similar, you could imagine that there were some that were slightly different, and there were things that certain pilots were able to do to make their TIEs work slightly differently. So it's quite nice. But it looks like in the game we've lost Warthog, so there is a ship down there. So lost the protection there for the ships, but it's still very much in Conor's favour. He's just lost the last 2 shields on red. But he's got... It looks like all of his shots are going to be towards Maul because Grievous is out of everyone's arc. In fact, I love the position that Grievous has managed to get himself there between that arc and Torrent. He is parallel to the line of both of their arcs there. He has managed to avoid both of those arcs so nicely.
He has done so well. He's managed to squeak himself in quite nicely there, and I'm pretty sure he's definitely in range 1 of that Torrent as well. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, he might be able to take that one out.
Yeah. And if you look at where he's managed to get himself on the board, we were saying earlier about Grievous being a fast and nippy ship. He started off at that top right-hand side. He's managed to get all the way down to the middle bottom and then back up to almost the top left-hand corner. He has gone round that board. He has covered more distance than any other ship on that board there. And it just goes to show how nimble and nippy that ship is, and where that is really the strength of that Bellabub.
Yeah. It is a good little ship to fly. It is one of my go-to ones when I fly the Separatists, is to make sure I've got the Bellabub there.
I mean, it does surprise me that they've not done the Bellabub as a separate ship that you can buy. It's only available in that pack. Similar to how the V19 Torrents, you can only get them in the Guardians of the Republic pack. They haven't brought them out as a standalone ship.
No, I think there is maybe the opportunity for them to bring it out as a single ship. However, at the same time, I'm thinking of definitely getting a second, box of the Servants of Strife, just so I can also have a couple of extra Vulture droids as well, just to, have a bit more of a swarm.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice way of getting multiple ships there. I mean, 3 ships for, you're talking about £35 there. That's not too bad if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a bargain.
I mean, it's definitely a good intro way. Yep, sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, Maul's gone. Maul is down. He's out. It's Grievous on full health still.
Yeah, and he just took a range 3 shot there from the red arc and laughed it off. So it's very much looking... Yeah, so, I mean, just under 3 minutes left of the game. This is Conor's definitely got this game. No matter how powerful Grievous is, I do not think there's a way that in what we're probably going to have is 1 round that Grievous can actually get enough damage on the board to actually win this. But I still think a very valiant effort there from Wes. He definitely didn't let anything that happened on the board stop him there. So I will say, very good game. Shame that hyena went down so quickly. I would have loved to have seen those bombs drop. Like, there's nothing quite like a good bomb drop.
It would have been quite good to see that seismic charge, you know, explode that asteroid that was right next to him, just to see how much of a problem it would have caused for the Republic.
Yeah.
I think Conor was probably onto it though, thinking, nah, I've got to get rid of this droid.
Yeah. And I think in the end, I think what Conor's done is he's thrown his ships very tactically. He's kept the arcs of the ships spread well enough that there was no round where he did not have a shot. So although he might not have been able to shoot with every ship, he always had some guns on target. And I think barring the first round of shooting against the hyena, he caused damage on every single turn that he had shots. So he maximised his shots to the best of his abilities, and I think fair play to him. He's done a really good job there. And again, Wes has also done a great job, just kept at it. He's got some fairly good damage in there. Not quite enough to get him the game. Okay, so that's 3 focuses there, which is a shame. He's going to reroll. Can he take out blue? So 1. And he's managed to take out blue. So that's 2 ships down there.
Not bad.
So very good effort there from Wes. And the last shooting is going to be a range 3 out the back from green. And I think with that, that's going to be game. So 2 focuses, spend it. Does Grievous... Oh, and Grievous does take a little bit of a nick on the paintwork in the end. 2 shields down on Grievous, but what a great game. That was really fun.
Good. Yeah, the Separatists definitely held their own there. They definitely put up a really good fight, especially against 2 powerful arcs as well, and Warthog. You know, I've not seen the LAT gunship fly until now, and that is a really good, powerful ship.
Yeah, I love the LAT. I think it's a great ship. It looks cool. You're going to see a lot of them on the table for the time being, because I think a lot of people really like the Republic. But again, fantastic game there from Wes and Conor. So thank you very much to them for agreeing to come on to the stream. And Amy, I just want to say thank you very much for coming along and commentating on that and giving us your insights and breaking down that Separatist list for us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure coming on to see the game and to speak to you again. It's been a while.
Oh, it has been a while. Lockdown has been quite tough for everyone, but hopefully we'll be able to get you back onto the channel very soon. I know that it's been brilliant to have you. So what I'm going to do...
I'd definitely love to come back.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Amy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up this video now, guys. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. As always, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell so that you know when the next video is up, and we will see you again very soon. Thank you.